It's like in 2020, is there anything different that you would recommend with trying to find niches that are evolving or trying to find niches that could really be hurting for lead gen at this point? Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
Long time listener, first time caller.
Sweet. I love it. There we go.
No, man. I wanted to hop on here, took a moment from working remote. I guess first question is, because I've been doing this for about 2.5 months now, what advice would you give in terms of attacking due diligence with finding markets? Just because, I know a lot of times when you talk, a lot of it has to do with, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the money's in the buy. And I know it's in obscure niches and things like that. So it's like in 2020, is there anything different that you would recommend with trying to find niches that are evolving or trying to find niches that could really be hurting for lead gen at this point?
Yeah, I mean, listen, one thing, I talked about this a few weeks ago. One thing that I'm really, really hot on is, and I don't really know why I've never brought this up before. I don't know, who knows, but one thing that I'm following really, really closely these days is I'm following the media in the news a lot more than I have, not necessarily because I care about, this and that they're saying. I want to know, are you talking, Devin? You're muted. Oh, you're good?
I'm
You're
good.
All right. I want to know what's driving the news cycle, because what's driving the news cycle is driving traffic, because people will go on and inherently search. And I think that it hasn't been something that I've paid so close attention to before, but I'm paying extra close attention to it now. So I'm following a lot of trending topics. I'm looking at industries a little bit differently than I would have looked at them before. I'm getting down to the granular level of the suppliers now of businesses that you might have thought of was going to be your lead gen, but maybe it's their supplier is who you're looking for. Maybe it's the company that gets them their materials, right? And I'm paying attention more to kind of like layer 2 or layer 3 of different industries, because what I've learned is, there's a lot that goes into just making a product or a service. There's a lot of stuff that happens before, that product or service is delivered. And so in there lies a lot of opportunity. As you start looking at the news or media or what you see on television or whatnot, and you start doing some searching and you start looking at, the Google Trends on things, you start to see some really large opportunities. And those large opportunities, what you'll find too is you'll kind of dig into these little rabbit holes of manufacturing and certain, different services that you never even knew existed. I think the other thing that I would be doing is I would be reading up a lot of these different industries. So I feel like a lot of people, when they do their due diligence, what they do is, they usually look in the Facebook group, they'll see what some other people have posted success stories on, and then they'll go do a Google search in their own town and be like, yep, that sounds good, checks all the boxes, let's go. And the funny thing is even that will work, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not as ideal. I feel like you can, in some of these industries, there's no one's paying attention. I was telling someone the other day, I said, when I started in this 10, 12 years ago, I look at some of these new spaces and these new industries I'm looking at now, and it reminds me of what the internet was 10 years ago. That's how far behind these other industries are in their web presence. And so those would be just a couple little key things that I'm looking at is I'm reading a ton of news. I'm watching a lot of news, and I'm using those news stories and watching what the cycle is really pushing. And then I'm following the trends to see what businesses could be impacted and or affected by those things, because it's generally a really key indicator of traffic.